Hello, Eddie.
Hello.
You will start in a moment.
We're all started. Hello. Namaste, Sanjeev Kumar.
Namaste. Namaste.
What are we doing for the immersed piece of yoga?
Yes, we are. Happy Sunday and welcome to the Ram Ashram Satsang Weekend Workshop, where you'll learn a modern Satsang technique for obtaining peace, light, and love in your life. My name is Eddie. I've been practicing Satsang for 14 years, and today I will be introducing the facilitator for today's event. But first, I'd like to give a brief introduction to this weekend workshop. If you'll direct your attention towards your screen, you'll see that the first element is Satsang. Satsang is a modern scientific technique whereby we may obtain peace, light, and love in our life. No physical skill, spiritual accomplishment, or meditation experience is required to begin this practice. Satsang consists of two words, Sat and Sang. Sat means positive energy, and Sang means to be with or to be in the presence of. Therefore, the word Satsang means to be in the presence of positive energy. The next element is meditation. Meditation is an important element of Satsang. When we meditate, we withdraw our consciousness from worldly objects and direct it inwards and focus on a single thought. In doing so, our minds become calm and our thoughts become pure, thereby allowing us to obtain higher states of consciousness. Inner orientation. There are two types of satsang, inner satsang and outer satsang. An example of outer satsang would be chanting or attending pilgrimages. Each time we practice outer satsang, we have the potential to change our behavior. But it is only through the practice of inner satsang that we can obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. The satsang that you will learn today is an inner satsang where we meditate in silence. Group session. These weekend workshops are structured for group participation. When we meditate as a group, our focus is improved and our personal progress along our spiritual path is expedited. By regularly attending these weekend workshops, your personal progress and your focus will be amplified. Joy and inner happiness. All beings wish to experience joy. Joy is the eternal longing of the soul. But it is only through the practice of inner satsang that we can obtain a joyous state. Each time we practice satsang, our inner happiness gradually increases, ultimately culminating in a state of joy, which we experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The agenda for today will consist of 3 sessions: the informative session, the practice session, and the interactive session. During the informative session, a lecture will be given about a satsang topic, the founder, or some relevant spiritual topic. During the practice session, instruction will be given on how to meditate, followed by a period of practice. During the interactive session, you have the opportunity to ask questions, or there'll be a panel discussion.
Yeah. I want to unmute.
You want to mute your audio.
I introduce the facilitator for today's event. He has over 40 years of satsang experience. He was born into a satsang family where he experienced his family members obtain states of enlightenment and lead lives of peace, light, and love. At an early age, he began traveling with the mission throughout India, conducting satsangs. And upon arriving here in the United States, Both he and his wife continued to hold satsang for local satsangees. He has worked tirelessly to make satsang accessible to Western and English-speaking audiences. He has worked with teams of satsang members to translate important satsang literature into English. He currently travels throughout the United States and India, conducting satsang while maintaining his duties as a husband, a father, and an IT executive. Today, he will teach us a rare and ancient form of satsang as taught by Guru Maharaj. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjeev Kumarji.
Hello, hello everyone. There are a few people who have, attended this before, but there are some new ones too. So, as Eddie was saying, and thanks Eddie for, getting us started here. We will just talk about an interesting topic. A lot of questions asked, like how do you stay positive in toxic surroundings? So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then, this is a guided meditation, not breathing, not like you meditate while guidance is given. It just comes, the guidance comes in, a set of instructions. And after that, you transition in with music, and then there is deep meditation in silence. And that's the core of this session. And after the meditation, everyone interacts in terms of, any questions, any observations, sharing of how things have been going. And,
I have a question, Mr. Gomar.
Yes, please.
When we do the satsang, that it is only the pace, and the sang is for practice. And how can we do the happiness of peace and love?
So, what I would suggest is that let's get through the practice, and then, so I'll describe how we meditate, and while we're talking about how do we stay positive in various different circumstances, I'll talk about some of the concepts that we utilize here, and then we'll open up for more questions and just sharing of things, right? Would that work?
Yes, that would work for me, Sanjeev.
Thank you. So idea here is that as we get in, let's step back, relax. The initial part is just to get us in the mode of getting into deep meditation that is coming in 15 minutes. All right. So just step back, relax. This question comes up again and again, and there are some folks here who have asked different versions of this question. So I just thought today, let's tackle this. And there is a simple answer, and then there is a little bit long-winded answer, and I'll try to keep it as short as possible, though. Yuan, I think if we bring that up, let's, do you have the first slide? Yeah, awesome. So the question is how to stay positive in toxic surroundings. And and I'll come to the simple answer later, but what we need to understand is that all of us, react to things very differently. And sometimes when we are in good state, quote unquote, we react one way, and when we're not in such a good state, we react differently. So there are outer events in the world, and how we react to it differs. And so we need to understand that aspect, and more from a spiritual and vertical progress towards a more peaceful state perspective. So how we react, so there is outer event, we don't have much control on that most of the time, but what we have control on is our internal states. So I picked up some things. To my grandfather, started his nonprofit and started sharing publicly what he learned from his guru, and in that process, he wrote lots of books, and he described a 5-step process, which I found that in thousands of years ago, there were Upanishads which described it. But recently, I read a book, Power of Focus, written by the authors of the Chicken Soup series, and they also mentioned that progress is vertical, while we continue to move horizontally in terms of time, past, present, and future. But if we want to uplift ourselves, we have to progress. And this 5-step process kind of talks about that. So Yuan, if you want to bring that 5-step pyramid, let's talk about that a little bit. Yuan? Oh. So, I guess some technical difficulties here, but let me, so as Yuan is bringing up the 5 steps, initially, like here, let's think about before we get to the land of deeper peace, we have to cross some quote unquote internal state. So this is a map of internal states. So the way you grow spiritually and the way you react changes as you move vertically upwards on this pyramid. So initially, peace is very elusive because we are trying to find that in this world, which, world keeps changing, and, this action reaction continues in a way that we seem to be getting affected very heavily by people and our surroundings. But then when you ground yourself, so, the simple solution is like, can we ground ourselves into strong positive energy? And that's what this whole practice is all about. So what it does is moves you up. And while the initial 3 realms, there is, continual impact on, so while you're growing internally to become more spiritual, more grounded in, positive energy, what happens is that it is still fickle. I talk about like FIR, the frequency, the intensity, and the recovery times continue to reduce as we progress upwards. So how many times you reacted in a way that later on you said, like, why did I do that? How many times the intensity of that reaction. So, and how long were you perturbed? So all that starts to reduce because, so what do you do? First, you have to start looking inwards. So then, one step could be like, with music, with chanting, with, some activity-based meditation, you ground yourself more to be more positive. But what we will practice here today is inner meditation, and we'll get to it very quickly. But then so literally you are getting to the realm of the mind where you still have clouds of emotion and mind control challenges, but as you practice satsang, what you will find is, like, even after the first session, your ability to become peaceful, at least for a few moments, that target becomes far more achievable. But later on, you could develop a practice where 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening, you just inculcate some positive energy, induce some positive energy that keeps you grounded positively throughout the day. And as you are wrapping up the day, you re-energize. And that cycle, if that cycle continues, one, you're continually uplifting yourself through these steps. But as you move to the fourth realm, that state becomes far more consistent, constant, and more deeper. And that is when, better insights come up, because your emotions are in control. So your mental faculties, your capabilities in your brain become far more pronounced, focused, and your ability to see things clearly and concentrate on things and get deeper into their meaning, and your perception changes drastically. And that leads to the understanding of how we're connected to other people, understanding, of how we can actually help others, the deep connection that we already have, because we are all conscious beings. So that higher level of consciousness starts to come up, in the fifth realm. And all that then leads to this land of amazing peace. So what I would say is that grounding yourself in positive energy, which is what we will practice now, as it gets more and more integrated into your lifestyle, into your day-to-day, instead of you getting affected by toxic surroundings, you start affecting people with more positive impact. That's the transformation that this pyramid basically talks about. All right, so we will talk more after the session. Let's try to practice this and see, how much it works. And it's very simple, very powerful. For most people, you will see the difference right away. Just to mention that every Saturday, same time, 10 a.m. Eastern, same link works. So you can always join the group, because the group energy is always, helps us. So a positively energized group or a collective positive energy has a far deeper and impact on our own practice. So that helps a lot. I think Eddie mentioned that too. So welcome everyone. Now let's get into the instructions of how to meditate in silence. So what we'll do is first close your eyes and observe your body a little bit to see that you're completely relaxed. There is no strain anywhere, and you are in a relaxed position where you can stay still for the next 20-30 minutes. It is important because the sensory input that comes into the eyes, so closing the eyes stops that. Every time your body moves, your mind moves with it. So we want to stop that as well. So eyes lightly closed, and then observe that you're completely relaxed and you can stay still for the next 15-20 minutes. Now, think of the most positive and uplifting transcendental energy in form of light that's right here, right now, with us, in front of us, and that's entering our heart and filling our heart with this energy and this light and enlightening us. And our heart is getting filled with that light. And then from there, this light is traveling throughout our body to every part. So I'll mention this again. So this transcendental energy in form of light is in front of us, in form of light, and that light is entering our heart and distributing throughout our body. And we are becoming one with this light. We're getting completely and totally immersed in this light. And hence, we are becoming this energy. It is difficult to stay still and stay on one thought and one thought alone of this light entering our heart and distributing throughout our body, and that we're becoming one with this light. So every time, so it's natural, the mind will go away and we will realize that it has wandered somewhere else. As soon as you realize, so that's an effort that you have to make, that as soon as you realize that mind has wandered away, bring it back to this thought and this thought alone, that you are in presence of this positive and uplifting transcendental energy, which is in form of light, and that light is entering our heart, enlightening our heart, and that light is then going everywhere, to every part of your body, and you're getting completely and totally immersed in this light inside and out. We'll start with music, and then the music will fade away, and then we'll meditate in silence, and then we'll break or transition out from this meditation with music for a few minutes, and then we'll start the interaction and the interactive session. So let's start now. Happy Sunday, everyone, and hope you had a good session. And welcome back those who have been part of the Satsang family, and welcoming folks who just joined as well. So, questions, comments?
Pranam Bhaiya, Pranam everyone.
Hello.
Sajita here.
Yes.
I was thinking or reflecting a little bit after yesterday's session on worry. And I was wondering, how would you categorize hope? Because typically, like, one means that I use to combat my worry is just say everything is going to be okay or all is well, something like that. So, I mean, hope. That, yeah.
So yesterday we had a session on how this approach is also pretty much designed ground up to tackle worry and anxiety. So Shivangi, if you could share the YouTube channel, I think it would be a long video, but if you take the parts where before the meditation, I have talked about the definition of worry and how what are the solutions to it, so I would like to others to talk about things as well. But Ajita, I think if we look at how you want to, create like a opposite. So if there is something that is pulling us down, we want to create opposite thought that would lift us up. So hope is one of those. So it does fit in from that perspective. Yeah.
Makes sense. Cool. Thank you.
Sure. So Bernard, how are you? I think if you can unmute. Hi there. Yeah. Yeah, you're unmuted now. So if you're speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how was the session?
Good.
Good.
How often you have a session? How often?
Say that again?
How often you have a session? Is it every month?
Oh, no. So every week, Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern, same time on Saturdays.
Yes.
This was an immersive weekend, so we had multiple sessions. Bye, Jessica. Glad to have you here. Have a good week ahead, and we'll see you soon. So yeah, So every Saturday, 10 a.m., same link works, and topics differ a little bit, but essentially the same practice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also have a Tuesday 7 p.m. Eastern session as well.
Yeah.
So those two times. Yeah, it's about practice, and it takes a little bit to kind of unlearn how we cannot be sitting silent, which should be a natural state. But group sessions, at least in my own personal experience, help a lot, both from the re-energizing and the collective energy perspective, as well as I'm sitting here almost like a you're maybe it's not the right word, but you're kind of forced to sit through because there's a whole group. I think March 18th, we're planning in person as well. So different places. I'm also planning in April, planning a session in London. So let's see. Yeah, Jeff, how are you?
Very good. That's why I did first. I've been stressed for 2 years ago. Right now, it's been very noticeable since I would have to learn how to do its flexibility and even those of the calmness, and even my taking some deep breaths, just like I do at the yoga for the JCC Shalom.
Yeah.
Like the standard meetings arrangement. So that's why I learned that, how to do that. Like when I was young, I met Miss Lara, the music teacher, who had to teach me about doing yoga poses. And the other one, I have learned to do the yoga just like my PT therapy. I met it was the occasional therapy, Miss Engelhardt, who taught me the way how to do this, closing my eyes and observing the surroundings.
Yeah. Yeah. Does that help?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what helped me feel the energy to relax.
Yeah. Very good.
Well,
So,
anyway,
yeah.
that it was from that day, you were the son of Guru. I mean, you were the grandson of Guru Maharaj.
Yeah. Yeah. Fortunately, yeah, it was. So I was born in this environment and this process. So, um, it worked for me. So I shared with everyone who wants to learn. Yeah. So glad to see you back here, Sarah, Kelly, and Maria. Anything, Gina?
So, Sanjeev, what was the satsang about? It's
So
about
it,
satsang tree would be for those 5 steps.
yeah, that is how you kind of spiritually grow. Yeah.
That's why the 5 steps on for the peace,
Yeah.
inner love,
Towards,
and the access of knowledge
Mhm.
and the mind.
Yeah, the light, love, and peace. Light is knowledge, and love is how we connect with each other, and all that then leads to peace.
That's very true. It all has those 5 steps to know how those sessions we're doing for Satsang Workshop. And in one of those steps of the Satsang, they will have to know the meditation, orientations, inner happiness is what Eddie just said. Meditation at the core, inward orientation. All of
Yeah.
those steps need to be aware.
Mm-hmm.
So if we learn how to be observing the surroundings, that's okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, Sarah, you want to say something? Any question?
Yes. Thank you very much. The session today was very helpful.
Thank you.
You recall correctly, I attended a session
Yeah.
before, and I found it a little bit easier this time to sit in silence without as much distraction. I have been spending a lot of time in nature, walking, appreciating light, the trees, the air, even in the cold. I also live in the Northeast, and it's very cold, but I find it like very peaceful sometimes to breathe in that air, just that fresh air when you go outside. And so when I was doing the meditation today to keep myself focused, I was imagining seeing that light that you described. I just kept imagining that light so that I would try to keep focused and still. Just because the last time I attended the session, I did find it challenging not to get distracted. So I just wondered if you could say a few things about what you feel are good strategies to stay focused during that session. Thank you.
Sure thing. And this is not the first time I've heard this question. This question comes up again and again and again, and it's very important that it's like we have to cross this stage. And so, number one, I would like to emphasize that meditation should be effortless, like literally effortless. So then what do I need to do? Just let it be yourself. and I don't know if it would resonate, but right now, you can see me because I am surrounded by light. And that's so natural. I don't have to do anything anymore. It's just that I am in light. So let's just, and the same way, if there was a tremendously positive and very powerful presence and that energy I'm surrounded by, that's just, almost like initially it would be a thought, but then once I manifest, then I feel that I am in presence of that energy. So we just need to, the goal here is that, let's say, there is some negative people around me, there's some situations happening, there are so many things going on, so my mind is scattered all over. I want to center it, as you were mentioning, you go in the nature, you feel part of it, and that just such a good feeling. Same way, sitting here right now, I close my eyes and I am actually surrounded by so many positive people who are, trying to uplift themselves. That collective energy is affecting me, and then also I feel that I am, also trying to manifest this transcendental energy for myself and for everybody else here. And it's just that, we first take a thought and then we want to manifest it. And when it's manifested, then we have gone to that next level, right? So, that's what I would say. It's just keep it as effortless as possible. And there's not much to do, really. It's just we want to disconnect from, and that's the part, that we want to disconnect from everything else and concentrate on this. And it takes a little bit because mind doesn't want to be tamed, essentially, right? Hope that
Thank
helps.
you. That was very helpful.
Sure. Yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's, just slowly, as you were saying, I mean, in the second session itself, it's slightly better. It gets better. And what I found myself is, like, when I sit alone, my mind is still at work in different ways. When I'm with others, there is some additional environment that is created that helps me get into a deeper meditation state. So, yeah. So even in India, this started in 1930s, and there was a process where, people would meet locally every week, and then annually in a retreat, so that was kind of designed to, like, really, like, take 3 days, 5 sessions, then you're like, you come out like completely, like, I mean, literally yesterday only we were talking about this, and sometimes, like, you are surrounded by so many things that are affecting your mental state. You go into this annual retreat, and 3 days, and you come out, and it's like as though you're completely a new person. All right. So Maria, how are you? Hello? Gina,
Hi there.
hi there. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great today. I just wanted to thank you for doing this and kind of a little outreach poke in an email that I received, like, hey, we're here on Sunday and would love for you to join us. And I really appreciate it because I need that little reminder once in a while. So this is really great. I appreciate your time and much needed and just a beautiful session with the idea of the light within, and just really is refocusing and appreciate you.
No, absolutely. You're always welcome anytime. And as I think, thanks to Shivangi, I think she is helping with the emails. And I think, as she mentioned, the same link works every Saturday and Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. You're part of the family. Join anytime because, to tell you the truth, sometimes I feel that it's the benefit actually is mine as well, because it just gives me this time off from everything else. So, yeah.
I agree with you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So, so as usual, Eddie, the final word before we wrap up.
Yeah, just a word about positive thinking. There are many types of positive thinking, right? If we're a car mechanic, positive thinking might be to finish 2 cars for the day. If we're a house builder, it may be finishing 50% of the house today. And in the case of spirituality, it may be maintaining that peaceful state throughout the day. But what's common among really all of these, in order to maintain a state of mind such that we can have positive thinking, we must have that transcendental energy within us. And so a good definition of positive thinking may be to maintain that transcendental light that is, that's out there. We want to fill ourselves up with that. And when we don't have it, then we're not positive thinking at that point. We're sort of negative thinking, or we're the subjects of some sort of draining of that positive energy. And so the way we can maintain that positive energy, that transcendental light within us, when we're in toxic environments, is to, just have a strong sense of, detachment from things, to not suffer from envy, and to maintain that even temperedness. And if you remember, we talked about that natural state of samadhi, and that's what those things are descriptive of. So we try to maintain that natural state of samadhi, and it prevents others from draining our positive energy, and it prevents us from, through bad behavior, bad character, from draining that positive transcendental light energy ourselves. And so when we do that, we maintain a state of mind such that we can indulge ourselves in positive thinking and have control over what we do in our actions. So obviously satsang helps with that, right? If we meditate in the morning, we fill ourselves up with a positive energy, and then hopefully, we'll be plentiful, and we'll have that positive energy to assist us throughout the day in dealing with the environments that we find ourselves in.
Yeah. And we were kind of, this weekend, we were celebrating my grandfather's guru's birthday also. So hopefully lots of blessings, and you'll have a great week ahead. Glad to be here, and very happy that you all were able to join. So thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Sanjeevji. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Namaskar, and yeah, happy week ahead.